Just one second. Hey everybody, I'm Terri Britt and welcome to our Women Leaders of Love Own Your Worth Wednesdays. I'm excited that you guys are here. We're letting a few people come in to the Facebook group. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to get the record button going. So welcome. I am so excited to talk about this conversation today because I had a big aha in my meditation this morning, and my guidance was to share it with you guys. So usually I take some time to kind of chew on something and regurgitate it and kind of, get all the information that I need to get from it. But today it was like, nope, share this today. You're going to get this. You're going to share this information because especially at the beginning of the new year, when we're really moving into our visions and what we want to create, then I think this is going to be something that's going to surprise you guys. So while everybody's streaming in right now, we have people pouring in on our Zoom broadcast of this live broadcast. We'll just take a moment and ask you to create a sacred space. Now, one of the things that if you are watching from Instagram, we have a Zoom portion of this call. If you'd like to be a part of that, where you can come in and ask questions, and if you'd like to, have some healing, then you want to be in the Zoom portion. And that goes for you Facebook folks as well. So if you want to be a part of that and you're not part of my mailing list, you can go to terribritt.com/leaders and get my free Worthiness Quotient Breakthrough Bundle. And in that bundle, you will get my Women Leaders of Love ebook, totally free, and 3 guided meditations. And what this is going to do is going to help you understand what we are as women leaders of love. Most people think that being loving is denying yourself. Well, we're taking a stand for saying no more performance, no more trying to get it right, no more trying to take care of everyone else. We're taking responsibility for our own happiness and healing and becoming that example of leading with love in our lives so others can watch us and learn. So if you haven't grabbed that, I want to invite you to. And then if you do, you'll be sent the Zoom link each week to join us on the Zoom portion of this call. Otherwise, those of you who are on Facebook and Instagram, you're just going to be able to watch. You can add your comments if you want, and I'll try to answer them later. So let me make sure I got the recording going. I do. I want to talk about what happened in my meditation this morning. It was pretty interesting. So I hired a TEDx coach a couple of months ago because I have felt called to bring a conversation out that is very important to me. It's about families and doing it differently. Okay, I'll just put it that way because I don't want to dive into the whole conversation right now because I'm still digesting it. It is a big message, and I know that I have been called to bring this forth. But yesterday, I found myself in the I can't. I don't know if I can do this. I can't. I've got too much information. I can't put it in this little nutshell. I can't. And I found myself doing that. How many of you can ever have said you could do that? Give me like a thumbs up or something and saying, yeah, I've done the I can'ts. Well, that's what I was doing. And of course, I had to talk myself out of it because I knew that was the little girl inside of me who was going into fear. I also know that numerologically, I run a 2911. And if you read Dan Millman's book, The Life You Were Born to Live, and in that 11, it says you can be some of the most creative people on the planet, but you spend your life getting there out of insecurity. So I know that this is an area that is a little bit scary for me. And I know that I have to have compassion. So understanding that is huge for me, to have compassion. Well, so I did that yesterday with that little girl inside of me. I, said, I understand you're afraid and you feel like you can't do this and you don't have to do it alone. We're going to open up and allow our guides in the universe to speak through us, to let God speak through us. Well, today in meditation, I'm sitting there just running energy as we always do, getting grounded. And I felt my guides come in. So my guides that I work with a lot, even though there were a ton of them in the room, it was Mother Mary, I always work with Christ, and Michael and Gabriel, the archangels. But at this point, Mother Mary I felt her grab my hand. I know that sounds crazy, but this is all, I'm experiencing this. And as she grabbed my hand, she goes, I want you to listen. It's like, okay. I'm always listening to you when you're talking to me like this. So how do you not, right? So as I'm sitting there, I felt the back of my heart chakra, right between my shoulder blades, opening up. And as it opened up, I felt this energy of I can't pouring out. And I was like, oh, this is what I was doing yesterday. I can't. I can't. And what was really interesting is I'm always watching the visuals, right? So I'm watching this picture of I can't and the energy coming out. But then I realized that from my heart, there's this string of energy that goes down into the first chakra, which is at the bottom of your spine. And instead of it saying, I can't, it said, I won't. Now think about that. I can't versus I won't. What I was shown is that a lot of times when we are saying, I can't, it is because we've actually put our heels in and said, no, I won't, because we are afraid. We are in safety. We're trying to stay in that safe place. We don't want to expand. We don't want to grow. Now, this was a big aha for me, because it's one thing to say I can't. You think of that little kid saying, well, I can't. But when you think about maybe the times in your life where you're thinking I can't, but if you really checked in with that little kid inside of you, it's the little kid going, no, I won't. It won't feel safe. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right to expand and show my light like that. I mean, think about it. So this was like a huge aha for me, because I can't makes you feel like you're not capable. I won't implies you are capable, but you're choosing not to. Big difference. So my question to you today is, how often are you in the can'ts? Are you in the I can't? And is it really related to I won't because you're afraid, because you are stuck in resistance? This can be in anything. Like, I have a lot of people I know who want to attract a relationship. I know women that want a man in their life, and they're saying, I can't seem to attract this. I can't seem to attract this. I can't seem to have this in my life. But I know just from looking at them, it's that they won't allow it. They're not allowing that relationship in, because in their mind, they can't be who they are and still have a relationship. They're caught in the old beliefs of, if you're in a relationship, you have to lose yourself, right? And of course, that's not the truth. That's just your belief. So instead of being in, there's something wrong with me, I can't seem to bring this to my life, it's really that I won't bring this to my life because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if I do, I will lose myself again. Big difference. So when we think about owning our worth, right? This is our Own Your Worth Wednesdays. When we think about being women leaders of love and owning our worth, we have to check in with ourselves and look at the mindset of anyone, or any thought that you might have that says, I can't do this, or I can't seem to receive this. I'm working my butt off, but I really can't have this. I don't know what's wrong with me, or I'm not capable of doing it. Maybe you want to write a book and you're like, oh, I can't do that. I just can't do that. Is it that you can't, or that you won't? That it's too scary, that it's going to take you out of your safety net? Something to chew on, right? I see that somebody just wrote something that says, Anne says to everyone, love this. Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? It's huge, because when we think about becoming master manifestors, which is what we are as women leaders of love, we're really focusing on healing our beliefs that shut us down to creating a life we love, because we know that loving ourselves is going to open us up to receive the miracles and the abundance that we crave. And it starts within ourselves, and then we attract that to us. So we're doing that, right? But we have to own our worth in that. We have to clean up the beliefs that say, no, you can't receive, and you don't deserve the love, nurturing, and support that you want. So that's what we're doing. But when you look at how the I can't will play head games with you, thinking that you can't have what you want, when in reality, it's that you won't allow it because you want to stay safe. That takes all the boundaries off. That takes all the limitations off, right? I mean, when I had that awareness today, because I'd already talked myself through it pretty much, but when I had that awareness today of, because I found myself in resistance to sitting down and doing, putting all the thoughts together because there's so much information. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. And I just went into I just don't think I can do this. I just don't know. And Mother Mary and my guides are like, it's not that you can't because you've been called to do this. You're just not sitting down to do it. So what you're really saying is I won't do it. Wow. I can see Jennifer's face right there. Jennifer, I can see you cracking up. Can you relate? Let me see if I see anybody else's faces. Everybody's got their faces turned off. Oh my gosh. It is just like so crazy when you think about this. Jennifer, can I ask you to unmute? I want to just get your feedback here. I want to see what you're thinking. You hit, yes, there you are. So what'd you think about that, girl?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the, blew my mind. It's like, too scared. Yeah.
Can't you see yourself when you go into the I can't and you see that little kid inside of you with their heels dug in and going, no, I'm not. Can you see that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I was like, this is so freaking huge. It is so huge because we get so caught up in, I can't, or I can't receive this. I can't. No, it's that you're not allowing it. You're saying, I won't. And you're not taking the action steps or the loving yourself or doing what you need to do to allow whatever you want to come in. We get stuck in our safety nets, right? Have you ever had that? Do you want to share any experience that you've ever had where you've done that? You want to be like the courageous woman leader of love? Is anything coming to your mind right now so other people can relate?
Oh gosh.
Or has it just been a theme that you recognize?
It's a theme I recognize, but putting myself out there for work, I've been training in a lot of different things in the last few years and taking baby steps to get out. And then I won't go.
Oh, I totally get you, sister. Totally get you. My big thing is that I had so many beliefs around being persecuted as a healer and as an intuitive. Past life work. I mean, I've done all this stuff and I would just say, oh, I just can't seem to find my community. And, da, 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 da. It's like, no, you are not allowing your community to show up. You won't because you're a big chicken, Terri, You'll see my feathers. So anyway, I thought it was a pretty profound awakening. What do you think about that?
No, I think that's amazing. I'm toes in the water and then back out. And then I'm like, okay, I'm here.
Well, when you think about this and you think about the I can't versus I won't, it's a question you can start asking yourself, right? So when you start putting your toes out there and you say, I can't, then you shift the conversation. Is it I can't or I won't? Big difference, huh?
It's scary. It's like,
it's scary. I get it. I understand that. But it is exactly, it's like, I think about all the times in my life when I create something, because I love to create, but then I shut myself down. You guys, when I worked in television back in the 80s, I had people coming to me offering me shows, my own show. They were creating a 1-hour talk show, the Terri Show. And I look back on it and I go, wow. I was like, oh, it's not the right timing. I can't do it right now. No, I wouldn't do it because I was chicken. That's all it was, is I was chicken. I've been plucking those feathers for years now, but I can be really honest about it and say, no, I was chicken. I wasn't allowing myself to receive it because I was chicken, right? I kept thinking there was going to be judgment. I wasn't going to be good enough. I can't do this. I need to have more experience. Big chicken. So anyway, thank you for jumping on here with me. You can mute yourself now. So Anne says, it feels as if it opens up the stagnation to see it this way. I know, doesn't it, Anne? It is so crazy to look at it that way. It's like, wow. When I feel stuck in the I can'ts and I change the conversation to, no, I really just don't want to because I'm scared. I'm in survival. I want to stay safe. Well, then we recognize that if we're having that conversation, well, it's not really that I can't, it's just that I won't. Then we can turn to that little kid inside of us who's got her heels dug in and say, you know what? I got your back. I love you. I love you. And even if we take a step and it doesn't work, we can say that we did. We can say that I can. I did. Now, what's so interesting about this? I read this thing one day. And it said, what is the childhood book that you remember the most? Because there was a message in it. Well, mine was The Little Engine That Could. Okay, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. So this is like a running theme in my life, okay? And so when I look at that and I think about all the times where even in, when I was trying to prove myself that I could, that then I would work so hard. It can go like I'm totally stagnant, or if I'm not really believing that I can go to the other extreme and push so hard, believing that this is the way I have to receive abundance. I mean, look at both sides, right? We can get totally stuck in the I can'ts, or we're trying to prove ourselves wrong and saying, well, maybe I can. And then we go over here and we're pushing too hard instead of just being in the state of I can, I am, and so it is. And then we take natural steps. So I just thought this was the most amazing thought that came in today, and the amazing healing. I mean, my body was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was like, holy crap. Okay. Because what Mother Mary was showing me in this conversation, she was like, nope, 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 nope. Wrong. You are not in the I can'ts. You're in the I won't. There's a difference in I want and oh, I won't. You're in the I won't. And I can't even tell you how that shook my world. It's like, oh yeah, when I don't show up to put my thoughts together and do the writing, I'm in the I won't. When I don't take the steps, as you were just saying, Jennifer, about you putting yourself out there and then pulling back, when I don't continue to take steps forward, you're not in the I can't, you're in the I won't. Right? Big difference. And when you think about it, I think the I can'ts would be like, okay, I want to be a world-class gymnast. Well, the truth of the matter is I probably can't do that at the age of 60. And, I can barely stand. I don't even want to try standing on my hands anymore. So that's probably an I can't. Okay. I mean, I could try, but I doubt it's going to happen because it's not where I am in my life right now. So I have to get honest with myself. And maybe if I really visualize it, who knows maybe I could be a world-class old gymnast. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying, right? So there's these things. It's like, that's not in my truth. But when I'm being called to put together a talk, and I know it's in my truth because I've been speaking for years, it's just putting all the information. It's not the talk, it's putting the information and putting it in a nutshell so that it's clear and concise and enlightening, right? That's where the I can't comes from. It's not from getting out. I mean, I talk like this every week, right? That's not the I can't. The I can't is, am I capable of putting all that stuff together? And of course I am. I've written several books. It's just that it just feels big right now for me. And so I need to be in not the I won't, but I show up every day and I allow my guides to take me through the process. That's the difference. Okay. It's like with you, Jennifer, when you're saying I pull my toes back, your guides are probably got you by the elbow going, come on, girl, come on. Are you going to go? And you're like, no, I won't. So we just want to go into awareness of that, right? So that's what our meditation is going to be about today. we're going to go in, and I'm just going to say we're going to go in and look at where are you saying in your life, I can't. And where is that I won't energy? And it's probably in your first chakra around there, because that's where we go into survival, and which would be at the base of your spine if you're not familiar with the chakras. So we're going to do this meditation, and then we're going to open up for conversation to see what everyone has to say. And I really want to get some feedback from you guys today, because this is a talk. Okay, this is a talk in itself. I can't versus I won't. So I really want to get some feedback from you guys and see what shows up for you in this conversation after we do this meditation. So I'm going to get a drink of water. If you guys are ready, I want to invite you to just create a sacred space for yourself. Get a drink like Jennifer's doing, like I'm doing. Okay, so Yvonne says, when we self-sabotage, we are confirming we won't, or I won't. Yes. Oh, Yvonne, I got chills all over. That's what we're doing when we take a step backwards, right? We're self-sabotaging. What we're saying is, I won't. I'm in resistance. The resistance is the I won't. Yet you're being guided. You can feel the calling inside of you, right? That's saying, go do this. Take a step forward, make a change in your relationship, make a change in your work, make a change in how you treat your body, and make a change. And instead of doing it, you're like, I just can't seem to get a grip on it. It's like, no, you won't get a grip on it, or you won't take the steps. Okay. I know this is like hitting the nail on the head, isn't it? Oh my gosh. I love it when my guides show up and just go, boom, cosmic 2x4 time, wake up. Holy crap. Okay, now I'm going to take that drink of water. All righty, let's go into meditation. Let's look at this. Isn't this fun? Oh my gosh. We're going to call in our guides right now. So if anybody needs a cosmic 2x4, you can get one. We're going to just call in our guides and close our eyes, taking a deep breath through our nose, holding it, and releasing. Totally emptying out. Do that again, bringing in the breath through your nose, holding it, and releasing. As you sit in this space, I want you to feel your guides coming around you. Even if you don't work with guides, just know that they are there. I've seen them. They surround the planet. And just know that they're there to offer healing. So just give yourself permission right now, saying, I give myself permission to receive help and healing from my guides right now. Breathing into this as you continue to breathe. And as you do that, I want to invite you to just open up the crown of your head like a camera lens. Imagine it just kind of opening up, and invite the light of trust and the light of I can into the crown of your head. And as it's coming in and filtering down through your face, as we take a moment to get grounded, say to yourself, I can. I can. And now feel that energy going down through your neck and your shoulders. Again, we're taking a moment to get grounded and allowing this I can energy to come into your body, to come into your arms, going down your arms and out your hands, imagining them going out of your palms of your hands and your fingertips. And you're letting go of all the energy that says, I can't or I won't. So allowing this energy to continue to flood through, down through your shoulders, your torso, breathing in, continuing to breathe in. Now down your legs, into your feet, and out the balls of your feet. Allowing the tension in your body that is stuck in resistance, that is stuck in the I can't and I won't energy, to allow all that to release out of your feet and your hands. Breathing into this, feeling the muscles relax. And now imagining your aura, that energy field around you. Imagine it extending out where your arms are extended out. If you were to imagine them going all the way out, at that aura going all the way beyond your fingertips, above you, below you, in front of you, and behind you. It's like you're sitting in this big egg of energy. And imagine that this light of I can, and even I will, or I am. How about I am coming in and not only washing your body, but now it's washing the inside of your aura. And any darkness is going down to the bottom and dumping down a column of light that goes to the center of the earth. And then imagining that not only is the inside of your aura clearing, but even the outside. You always want to clean the inside and the out. And anything that's dumping down to the bottom, again, goes down that column of light to the center of the earth. So breathing into this a little bit more. And as you breathe in, let's call in that little kid inside of you, that little 5-year-old child. Call in that kid right now and tell her or him, if we have any men watching, tell her, I love you and I'm so glad you're here. Now I want you to think about where you've been stuck in the I can't. Where have you been stuck? Are you doing like Jennifer said, maybe where you're trying new things and you put your toe in and then you pull back and you tell yourself you can't? So just get that vision in your mind for a minute, or you can even ask your inner child, where are you stuck? And then I want you to imagine that that picture is in front of you. I mean, you can even imagine a movie screen, that you see this all on a movie screen. And I want you to see two gauges. One is I can't, and one is I won't. And I want you to ask and get really honest with yourself. In this picture in my mind of where I get stuck, is it on the I can't gauge or the I won't gauge? And see what happens. And it may be both. You may have beliefs that you can't, but I would challenge you that if you're being called to do something, that it's not really I can't. It might be I won't. So where are you on this gauge? Get really honest. If you feel like you're grasping, take a breath. Imagine opening up your crown again. If you can't see the picture, you might hear it, you might feel it. Just trust whatever shows up for you is right. And then I want you to look at, because I know we all have the I won't, and I really want to focus on that, but I just wanted you to get an idea on the gauge if I can't and I won't. But I want you to look at, where is that I won't energy stuck inside of you? I saw it going from my heart down into my lower spine, down at the base, in my first chakra, right at the base of the spine. I want you to just look at, where is that I won't energy? Maybe it's in your brain. Maybe it's in your power center, in your third chakra, right where your ribs meet, because you feel like, oh, this just feels too powerful and I won't do it because it's scary. And I don't want to be that powerful. It could be anywhere. So I want you to just look at, where is that energy? And then I want you to imagine taking a rose, a big giant rose, and have it be the head of it like a vacuum cleaner, and come into wherever it is on your body and start pulling that stuck energy out. And you may think, it's in my whole body. That's okay. Just let the rose start pulling out all of that energy. Let it be a big vacuum cleaner. Okay. Allowing that energy to pull out the I won't energy. And you can even pull out the I can't energy if there's some there. Pull it all out. Feel yourself relaxing a little bit more because you're releasing more resistance. And now take that rose and send it out into the universe and blow it up like confetti. We always send it back with love. And I want you to imagine that you're now filling up with the not only I can, but I am energy. Okay, so we can start shifting this energy fully from resistance to saying yes. So feel that energy coming into your body. And now turn to that little kid inside of you and ask, what is scaring you? Why is it that you're in the I won't, which leads to the I can't? Why are you in that energy? What is hurting you? What is scaring you? And see what she says or he says. Let's take a moment and do that. What is scaring that little kid inside of you? Because she's the one who's in resistance. And just get clear, does it have to do with feeling safe? Okay, because a lot of times we want to stay safe. And this is why we stay in bad situations or things that don't really nurture us because we're trying to stay safe. So is that why she's staying in the I won't? Yeah. So whatever the feeling is, I want you to just acknowledge her for that and say, I am so sorry you're feeling that way. I get you're scared. But here's the deal. We're going to go into the not only I can, but I am, meaning I'm already doing it. We're going to do that now. And I want you to know that no matter what happens, that I love you. I've got your back. And I want you to imagine that you take her into your arms, or if it's a little boy, for those guys that are here, take that child into your arms and just hold that child like you've always wanted to be loved. And now I want to invite you to imagine your guides, whether you see them or not, or know they're there. If you've ever met them, know that you do have them. I want you to imagine that your guides come around you and think of it as a family hug, like my little 2-year-old grandbaby says, family hug. And everybody has to get into a group and just this big hug of nurturing. I want you to allow yourself to receive this right now. Just say to yourself, I give myself permission to receive this energy, this love, this support, to move forward in the I am. I am doing what I'm being called to do. I'm doing it with the support and the trust that is there for me. And just give yourself a moment to feel the beauty and the energy of your guides saying, yes, you can do this. Feel any resistance releasing. Breathing into this. And seeing whatever that you've been doing in the I can't, seeing that it is done. You're celebrating that you've had your guides with you, you've had that inner child with you, and you are so joyful because you realize that you didn't have to walk that alone, that you're supported, that you're loved, that you're expanding, that you're more joyful than you've ever been because you moved out of the I can't and the I won't to I am. Breathing into this, feeling that energy emanating into every cell, feeling your body opening up and saying yes. Every cell in your body is saying yes. Breathing into this. And when you're ready, you can come back into this space. Mm. What a amazing thing to see when we surround ourselves with love, with our guides, when our inner child no longer feels alone and we don't feel alone, that we start having the faith and the trust that we can move forward. And so we don't have to feel like we need to stay in that safety place anymore. We want to stay safe because we feel alone, right? We feel unprotected. But when we create this dynamic of loving the little kid inside of us and then calling our guides to surround us with love and protect us, we don't have to play the safety net anymore. We don't have to be in that. We can say, I am doing this right now, or I have already done it, right? And we can celebrate it and no longer go into resistance of being in the I can't or I won't. So I want to open up. Jennifer, can I open you back up? Will you open back up for a second and talk to us?
Sure.
So what did you discover for yourself, if you don't mind sharing?
It's definitely, it wasn't safe to be me. That's what came up.
Yeah.
And I could feel the guides there. And
Mhm.
at the end there was celebration. So there was little streamers and some dancing and stuff. So that was really freeing. Thank you so much for that. That was great.
I love that. I could see, I could see your face. It's really fun for me to be able to see y'all's faces. And I know people want their privacy. And just so you know, I am thinking about shifting this over to our private Women Leaders of Love group. If you haven't joined that, you can join it on our Facebook page, which would be a little bit more private. We actually check to make sure there's not a troll who joins us and people who want to join us. And I'm thinking about changing this call over there so people have a little bit more privacy. I'm just going to talk about it. I'd love to get y'all's input. If you want to write anything, send me a message, private message me or whatever, or send us a message and just say, hey, I think this is a great idea, or whatever. We'd love to have your feedback. But thank you so much, Jennifer, for playing today. And I really appreciate you showing up, and I appreciate you being willing to jump in and talk. I think for so many of us, we have felt the way you felt. And I think that when we can create this loving space, and I have to say, I just came back from Florida after being with my little almost 3-year-old granddaughter. And this is her thing right now. She says, family hug. And it doesn't matter who's in the room. If you've ever hugged this person or not, you're all going to come together and hug. It is beautiful. I mean, it just makes me grin from ear to ear. And so, that's what, as we were talking about this today with the guides, it's like when you can feel the presence and your inner child feels your presence, right? And then you surrender to your guides and you know that the love is coming from here and through this deep connection from within and with this beautiful energy of the universe, then it makes you realize that, one, energetically, you're putting yourself on a higher vibration, which is really where we want to go for safety, because then you attract things that are high vibrational. It's when we're trying to stay in the safe mode that we attract things that are lower vibrational, because we're not loving, we're not being in a space of self-love, right? So, but when we can surround ourselves that way, then we realize that we don't have to play it safe anymore. We can take those steps. We can allow the guidance to come through and think of it as your own little tribe, your own. I one time I had this realization, it's like my own little holy trinity. It's me, my inner child, and God being represented by all my guides. And that is beautiful, that's a beautiful awareness to go into that space of going, when I activate all of this, then I feel safe. I feel loved and I feel nurtured. And then I can take those steps. It's just taken me 20 something years to figure out that the I can't is really I won't. I'm a little slow, okay?
You're not alone. My granddaughter's almost 2, and it's just it's opening up a whole new world. Like it's just amazing. It's
Isn't
amazing
it?
for them to see. It's just,
It
it's
is so
wonderful.
much fun. It's
It's
so
a
much fun.
huge gift.
It is. All
Yeah.
right, Jennifer,
Thank
thank you. I'm gonna ask you to mute yourself, and I'm gonna see if anybody else wants to ask a question. Let me see if we've got anyone over here. Anybody else want to raise your hand? Remember that if you want to raise your hand, you hit the reaction button down below, and you click it, and then it'll say raise your hand after you click it. And let me see if there's anybody who wants to do that. I'm not seeing anybody. Let me see. My screen's not acting the way it normally does. I'm sure I've hit the incorrect button. Does anybody else want to ask a question or have any thoughts you want to share? Let's see. Right. If you are wanting to and you can't figure out how to raise your hand, just unmute yourself. And the way you do that, you just go to your microphone and unmute, and you can just start talking. If you have a question about today, if there's a thought that you have about today, an aha you want to share, or if it's a question about something else and you just like some support, this is y'all's time. So anybody? Because if not, we are going to, okay, here's, okay, so Jennifer says, thank you for your worthiness course. I will be signing up. Oh, that's awesome, Jennifer. I'm so glad is that you, Jen? Is that you? Okay, you're gonna be signing up. Yeah, so if you guys wanna go to the Worthiness Quotient course, which helps you really move deeper into loving yourself, calling in your guides, doing the energy tools, looking at the beliefs that have you stuck in the I can'ts and the I won'ts and trying to stay safe, you can go to terribritt.com/worthy, and you'll see the landing page. If you want to watch my webinar that's free and tells my whole story about how I went from being angry and stressed out, that's terribritt.com/webinar. And I share with you why raising your worthiness quotient is so important and key to leading a life you love. So anybody else? Christina says, thank you. Great message. We can all relate to. Tammy says, great teaching today. Well, I'm glad you guys loved it. That's awesome. So does anyone else have a question? Anyone have a thought? If not, we're going to jump off here early today. Let me see if there's anyone else who's raising their hand.
Terri?
Yes. Who's that?
This is Terri, the one that talked to you a few weeks ago, Terri with the I also. I just wanted to say, I just love the message today, because when I was teaching years back in the classroom, you know, we always have like themes or certain things that were over time, just messages we're communicating with kids, building culture. And I always, whenever a kid would say, I can't, their reprogramming was they always had to kind of put this fake smile on their face and go, I would love to try.
Oh, I love that.
And it was just like, you could just see them cringe, because probably like, this is maybe second grade, 8 years old. And they would just go, you could just see this like, I can't. And they're like, oh, I would love to try. And I'm telling you, I didn't even, you don't even know what you're doing then, because I was just younger, but it's just so funny now, fast forward X amount of years, and it's the same energetic kind of shift in a way. And it does just completely reprogram that little inner thing inside of us. So thank you.
I love that. And were you practicing that in your life at that time when you found yourself, I can't? Did you find yourself?
I was fortunate that the woman who led the school at the time was very vision driven. Like she always just said, no, you never had to teach. Well, you did teach rules, because you'd always explain why it was important to be on this side or look up there. Kids come this way, they're going to crash into you. If they understood why, they just would do it without resistance. And it was always responsibility, respect, and cooperation were like the 3 biggies, and everything sort of fit into that. But I don't know what led me exactly to staying with that message and using it all the years that I taught. It was just that age. I don't know if it's developmental or just a sense of 8-year-old vibes. And I don't know. It was
Well, I
just
tell you,
something.
you planted some incredible seeds with some kids. They were very blessed to have you. And
Yeah,
I just want to say kudos to you because I mean, how many of us get stuck in the I can'ts? And
so often.
oh yeah,
So often, and in a system, we even get into I can't. Like, we're just little robots, like you said, performing.
oh yeah,
And to have that creative edge and maintain a sense of self within that type of system, which can be repressive. It was, yeah,
yeah.
it was
Be
very
very
interesting.
You know, it's interesting as you're saying this, because one of the things that's hitting me, I hear so many people say, well, I can't take the time to heal. I don't have the time. I can't
Yeah,
do the inner work. And I'm thinking, no, it's not that you can't, you won't. And because it's scary to make changes.
totally
It's
true.
scary to step out of the status quo. And I see a lot of women when they're starting to shift, because it takes great courage to say, I'm going to give it a try.
No
Right.
kidding.
And I'm going to put 100% forward. It is you guys being here. You are the most courageous women on the planet. Let me tell you, because there are a lot of people who don't want to do the deep work,
No
but
kidding.
that's why it stays the same. That's why there's division. That's
Yeah.
why there's resentment. That's why there's victim mentality, because people are like, well, you're not filling me up. You're not making me happy. And you're doing this to me. No,
Yeah.
we can stay there. But when you guys are taking full responsibility and you're showing up and saying, you know what, I'm showing up for this. I am owning who I am. I'm claiming my crown. I'm owning my worth. And
Yeah, it's so true. I used to have the kids go look in a mirror. Like when
yeah,
it would be like, I go, okay, well, just go have a
yeah.
conversation. They go, what? Well, go, there's the mirror. Just go have a conversation.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because
You know, I
yeah, it is that seeking outside of self for like what we'll do. And it isn't, it's just so within us. Yeah. And it just unfolds. Like I can just say decade after decade, you think you've arrived and then it's like, oh my God, what a baby. And here we go again and again and again and again. That's why I love the Zoom call here, because like women 60, 70, 80s, like we never sort of arrive. It's all ages. Like I was saying a couple of weeks ago, we think we're in our own little space and there's so many people in pain. And back to what you were saying about the I can't, it applies even with people with different abilities. Like I have a brother with mental illness and it's behind the label. I can't because I have, anxiety. It's like, you know what? You're in your own way, even with a mental issue, you're still in your own way. If you could just embrace that one little, which is huge, a hurdle.
Yes.
And then even with, the Miss USA committing suicide, my father committed suicide in the same way, jumping off a building. And it triggered me. And it was in the month of February and it was years ago. And I thought when I read about her passing, once again, the outside, the inside, I know the demons, the darkness. It was just so interesting to
Yeah. It's interesting because I was looking at that and I'm on some private pages for the Miss USA stuff. And
yeah,
so I didn't know her. I didn't know Chesley, but there were people that did know her quite well. And I guess she had been dealing with depression for years.
I kind of figured.
And what was sad about it is that she felt like, and I could totally relate to this because this is part of my story, is that she was such an overachiever, always going for that next thing and never feeling fulfilled. And I think, gosh, I know she did some counseling work, but counseling is a little bit different than doing the kind of work we're doing. I mean, we are
Oh
going
yeah,
so deep into we're not just talking, we're going deep into the subconscious mind. I mean, I've had
yeah,
people say to me, I've been in counseling 10 years and in one session with you, we got to the bottom of what was going on because we go deep, right? And I just, I wonder, with Chesley, if she had done some of this work and realized that she didn't have to perform, that she didn't because she was so full of love. I mean, that's what everyone said. She was so full of love and so radiant and, just touched everyone. But there was something that was driving her inside to never have compassion and kindness for herself.
yeah.
And I don't want to speculate because I don't know what was going on in her mind, but I just know that I've worked with enough people over the years to see that, there's a Dr. Laura Honus Webb. She is a I think she's a psychiatrist, but anyway, she wrote a book, and I believe it's called Listening to Depression. It's either The Gift of Depression or The Listening to Depression.
Mm.
And she reached out to me a long time ago when she saw my enlightened mom work that I was doing. And so we exchanged books and stuff, and she sent me her book. And it was so profound the way she explained it. She said, depression is like riding in a car, and there's a fly in the car. And the fly keeps going over here to this window that is closed. That's the driver's window. And it keeps driving, hitting until it just kills itself pretty much. She says, if the fly would just turn around and see that the window across the car was open, it would have freedom. And I thought that is such a profound way of doing it, because when we keep doing the overachieving, the pushing, the shoving, and we're not being kind and gentle to ourselves, we're being that fly. That is, maybe we don't actually jump off of a building, but we're killing ourselves. We're doing a slow death of being, in lower level emotions and depression and sadness and feelings of hopelessness. But if we would just turn and say, I'm going to have the courage to do it in a different way, and to look inside of myself and to love myself, then we'd have that freedom. And so that's why, right now, our minds can play games. My daughter, Colby, who's 28, she had anxiety for a while. She's very empathic. I mean, since she was a little kid, she's been very, very happy, but we could go into a crowd and all of a sudden her little lip would come out and she'd start crying because she could feel the energy. So she's carried a lot of energy, and she's learned tools. She's taken classes. She's done all kinds of stuff, but she would go into extreme anxiety. Well, all of a sudden she started getting a grip on her anxiety. And I said, what's the shift? And she said, well, I finally understood, Mom, that if my mind was that powerful to create the anxiety, it was that powerful to stop it.
Wow.
Pretty profound,
Insightful daughter.
Oh, I've got some very amazing kids that are very, very insightful. And as she said to one of her life coaches that she was coaching with, she says, my life has been a life coaching.
Oh, that, and I won't. Look at that. You're a team.
Exactly. But, it is, our minds are that powerful. And so when we go back to the conversation of today of I can't, but really it's I won't, because we're staying safe, then we can say, well, if we can shut ourselves down that much to be in resistance, then what if we say, not only I can, I will, but I am, then our mind starts shifting to go into a whole different, that's where we go across the car and out that window. And so, we have to understand that if our minds can shut us down that much, it can also open us up that much.
Yeah, two of the little tools that I do with myself, sometimes I'll just go, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how alive do I feel right now? And I'll go like a 8, a 6, and then I'll go, whoa, it makes me just feel where I'm resonating. And then another one is just, how old do I feel right now? Oh, about 3.
Ooh.
That's kind of like you said, that question, I won't, I can't.
Yeah.
Like sometimes just a simple question can really create a spark of awareness.
I love that, Terri. Thank you so much for sharing that. I hope you guys all got what she just said. So say it again. What's the question you asked about?
Well, often I'll just go, how alive do I feel on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
And man, it's revealing. Sometimes I was like, whoa, I'm a 3. Like, what? Whoa. And I don't think about it. I don't overthink it. I just get an impulse. So, and then the other one is, how old do I feel right now?
I love that too. But the alive one, I think, is really cool. So when they're both cool, but that one, so when you realize that on a scale of 1 to 10, you're at a 3 in your aliveness, what do you do to get your aliveness going?
Good question. Sometimes I'll follow it up, even how old do I feel? Because that might take me to that inner kid work, like what's sort of stuck. Because I think the things that probably would elevate me personally into more aliveness or whatever would be movement, air, breathing, it could be silly stuff, just dancing, laughter, all those things that we know just shift our space.
That's so me. That's so me. I mean, if I turn on the music, and I said to my husband the other day, I said, do you realize how many years we went without having a lot of music in our house? We got one of those because we just didn't turn it on. The kids had music in their rooms and stuff. And And, I might turn on some music if I was doing meditation or whatever, but we finally got those little Google Nests, and I'm like, hey, Google, play Marvin Gaye. And Charlie was so funny
What's
this morning.
going on?
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on?
And then this morning he's coming in the kitchen. He's got his little hips going. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
We all need to be doing this. And we've been doing it now for a while. But what was happening is I would go visit my kids, and they would have music on in their house all the time. And it would feel like, it's like, this is so fun. I'm like, well, why don't we do that? I love music. Why
It
don't
does
I
kind of perk you up.
Yeah.
And if
It
you dance
does.
in your socks, you're cleaning your floor at the same time.
Oh, that's good. I love that. Thank you for that, Terri.
You're welcome.
I would get some dish rags or my socks. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your wisdom.
Right back at you.
Definitely tell you're a woman leader of love, and you guys all are, but I just really appreciate you sharing all of your wisdom through the years, and what you said about being in the classroom with the kids when they said, I can't, and I'm going to give it a try. I can give it a try. And I just, I think even if we take it to the next level and say, I am, then we are invoking the power of God within us, that, because if we make up the body of God, then we are part of that. So as soon as we say, I am, then we really feel it and say it, then we can start shifting it and acknowledge, yes, I feel that I can't. And I can see that there's been resistance that I won't. That's my humanness, but I can move into that connection within and say, I am. And that's huge. Yeah. So thank you. I'm going to ask you to mute yourself, and we're going to wrap this
All right.
up. Oh,
I'm wait. Safety for everybody.
So Kathleen just raised her hand. Kathleen, you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, and I see that you've raised. I don't know why I'm not seeing it on the side like I normally do.
Yes. Hi. Thank you. I just wanted to bounce something off of you. Regarding the issue of worth, when I'm in my essence or my higher self, there are no questions of worthiness or unworthiness.
Right.
But I've heard the plea of my human self say, but I want to be worthy. Yeah. And I have all the rational answers for that, but I just wanted to bounce that off of you.
How do you merge them?
Yes. That has been a life quest of merging my humanity and divinity. Yes.
So the one thing that I've learned through the years is, I remember in my first book, Message Sent, I had this aha, because I visualized that meditating was like, and I'm walking through the garden and everything is so wonderful and peaceful. I was like, that's not spirituality. When I can embrace my humanness and acknowledge that I am in my humanness and love it. That's why the little inner child work is so powerful, because you see it yourself as this kid who's afraid. And so when you come with her and you say, I love you, what's hurting, and you get to the belief of what's creating her pain and suffering, and give yourself permission to release it, and then ask, what is my truth, and stand in it. What you do is you come from that space of unworthiness, you cross the divide of lack, and you move into alignment with God as you stand in your truth, as you love your humanness, give yourself permission to stand in your truth. You now feel worthy. You're in a deep connection to God, and now you open up and receive. That's why I teach so much about worthiness. It's because our worthiness is our ego telling us you're not enough. It's trying to keep us safe. It's telling us that you don't belong, that you'll never fit, you'll never get it right. And so when we can see that, and we see these beliefs that are sitting in our subconscious mind that help us stay in that energy, right? Because these beliefs are telling you, oh, you're not enough, you're wrong for who you are. And a lot of times it comes from our childhoods, because our parents were in the same lack, right? And so we take on that this is the truth. And this is why I feel so strongly about women in our families, that we take a stand. So whether you're a grandma or a mom with young kids, that you become that example of a different way of being. You create a new family paradigm. And so, if you can think of it as I embrace my humanness, loving myself, having compassion for myself, having forgiveness for myself, really giving myself permission to stand in my truth, no matter what everyone else says, I move into alignment with God, and that God is your soul, your spirit, right? So you're moving into alignment, and that's where you create the connection. It's through embracing your humanness and giving yourself permission to stand in your truth. That's it. For me, I never felt that connection until I was guided to do this inner work. And when I was guided to Montserrat and I was staying in the monastery, and like you've heard that story, I'm not going to tell it right now, but anyway, and I asked, why have I been brought here? And I felt a nudge to read about the monastery, which was it was about a Black Madonna. And I heard it, I read, in honor of the Divine Mother. And then I heard in my ear, the Divine Mother takes you to God. And then I heard, this is what you've been teaching. Because when we become that divine parent to that kid inside of us, and we're loving ourselves, being kind and gentle, bringing compassion, instead of saying, what's wrong with you? We ask, what's hurting? What's causing you to suffer? What's causing you to be in resistance? What's causing you to, what is the belief that is causing you to feel like you can't, or that you won't because you don't feel safe? When we can get to those beliefs and recognize that they're causing pain and suffering, and we move them out and then say, what is my truth? And then take action steps in that truth. And that's where we can open up to guidance, to our guides. Then we move into alignment with the way we were created. And that's how you merge it. That's how you create heaven on earth, which heaven is in the mind, right? So if when I was in my emotional chaos, I felt like I was in hell. I was like, this is hell, because this is where my head is. Miss USA who jumped to her death, she was in hell, right? An extreme hell. So if we can take a stand for moving into alignment, you got to think about, how do I honor and love the way I was created today? Because when I honor and love the way I was created, I'm putting God first. I'm moving into alignment with God, this ever-loving presence of the universe. And in that alignment, I feel enough. I feel worthy. I feel loved. I feel supported. And energetically, when you're in that alignment, you now feel you're in such a high vibration that you attract loving things to you. So now you really feel the alignment of the universe with you. So it's really about embracing your humanness and standing in your truth.
Yeah. So I'm wondering when we have negative thoughts and feelings, we're out of alignment with our true self. Do you think unworthiness is maybe another word for just our inner guidance system saying, hey, you're out of alignment?
Yes.
But then we make a big story about it?
Yeah, I think unworthiness is simply that we have feelings that we're wrong for who we are, that we can't be who we are. And it is strictly us being shown, you are out of alignment. You're not loving yourself unconditionally.
Interesting.
That's all it is. And what happens energetically, and why it keeps getting pushed, we keep having those feelings of unworthiness get validated of what we think is validated, is that when we shut down, when we're trying to win love outside of ourselves because we think this is what's going to make us feel worthy, we're actually saying to the universe, who I am is not enough. We're energetically sending out a message of guilt or shame. Those are the two lowest vibrations. And so now we attract things to us that tell us you're not worthy. We attract things that feel hard, that feel like punishment. So here's where we stay out of alignment, because we keep pushing, we keep shoving, we keep trying to forge ahead and try to win that feeling of love. It was like Chesley was doing. She said she kept going after all of these accolades, right? Yeah. She was trying to win love.
Yeah.
And as long as we're trying to win love, we're going to keep feeling we're unworthy. And it is only when we have the courage to say, I'm going to love myself, and I'm going to give myself permission to stand in my truth, and then listen to those negative thoughts. Because those negative thoughts are just simply your mind that is caught up in hidden beliefs that are saying this is who you are and this is what you deserve. And if they are not loving and kind, it's not the truth. So yes, your thoughts are just, they're showing you. I mean, this is why, people don't understand the value of owning their worth. And this is why I feel so called to teach this. Because, having talked to other people like Joe Vitale of The Secret, he said this is a key factor, even in just attracting money, that your worth is one of the three things that you have to own. And, and so for me, I know for me, even though I had all these accolades in my life, I did not believe that I could receive love and support without constantly performing and proving my worth. And then in those moments that I did have it show up, I still didn't feel the love.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the thoughts in my mind about, the emotional chaos in your mind is a sign that you haven't earned your worth.
Yeah.
You
So,
haven't.
yeah, what I'm hearing is that we feel unworthy, but then all the strategies we reach for to feel worthy dig a deeper rut of unworthiness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like
Exactly.
we actually have to like let go of all the old strategies.
That's why
Yeah.
it's so important to do the healing work, because when you are over here, what I call the low worthiness quotient column, and your worthiness quotient is how open you are to receiving love, nurturing, and support for who you were created to be, no longer performing. So when
Yeah.
we're over here and our culture says work harder, perform more, do it right, deny yourself, right? So that's what our culture says, is this is what's going to bring you love, success, and happiness. But then you look at our world and you think, yeah, there's a lot of people who may be making a lot of money, but are they really fulfilled? Are they really connected? Do they really feel joyful and peaceful? No. I mean, my late husband would bring home $1 million a year. He was not a peaceful man because he was always worried about how he was going to keep it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
There was no trust that he was worthy of receiving the universe's love. I mean, he started getting better, but it was still there. It was still, it really ran rampant in his life. And so we keep doing the same old thing that just perpetuate those feelings of unworthiness. And it's not until we say, I'm going to have the courage to love myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the courage to cross that divide of lack and move into a high worthiness quotient and move into alignment. We have to have the courage. Courage is right. And that's where we're missing the boat, is because that's what I was saying earlier. When people choose not to do the healing work, they're like, oh, well, I can't, I don't have time. What they're really saying is I won't. And they're choosing to stay in this low worthiness quotient. They're choosing to stay in what feels hard or just not alive. Terri said it a few minutes ago, how alive do I feel right now? They're just kind of flatlining.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually think that unworthiness might be a form of safety.
Total.
Like, yeah.
It's a total form of safety.
Because
Total.
if I admitted I was worthy, I would do everything I'm afraid of doing.
Oh my God, that is so brilliant. Oh my gosh, I'm going to write myself a note on that one. You guys, I'm going to go back and listen to this recording today because y'all are just so brilliant. You were so right that but here's what's so interesting is what I see is that people will say, I'm worthy, but yet life still feels hard. They're saying it, but they're not emitting the vibration.
Yeah.
Because at their core, they're still doing the same old stuff that perpetuates that low vibration.
Yeah.
Right?
And owning one's worthiness is not easy because, I know I've had experience with women where the attitude was like, oh, who do you think you are to be worthy? So like that's another form of being shamed for being brave. So this isn't an easy journey, and courage is the word that stood out to me the whole time you were talking.
Totally courage. And this is why you now understand why when I was like, how do I put this in a 9-minute talk? Okay. I was like, I can't do this. And then my guides are like, you can't, oh, you won't. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. But this is so cool today because you guys are giving so much valuable information that's feedback for me as I put this talk together. So that, because it is, think about in our families when your parents are trying to make you be good, when your parents are maybe denying themselves. If you come from the typical American family, or even worldwide, a
Mm-hmm.
parent is going to deny themselves to take care of their kids, to do everything right for their children, because they want their children to have more than what they had. They want them to feel more loved. So now we're like inundating them with so much stuff, but the kids are still not feeling loved. I mean, suicide rates are crazy, right?
Mhm.
And so what happens is the child is watching the parent saying, love means you must deny yourself. Okay, that's what we learned from our parents. Love means you must deny yourself.
Yes.
And so because we're so trained to try to be good and to do it right, that
Yeah.
we think, well, if I am, if I go into the workplace, I've got to show that I'm really being good. I've got to show that I'm doing it right. And it goes back to that family belief of, if I'm going to receive love, if I'm going to receive abundance and life's rewards, I have to deny myself. That goes totally against the grain of
Mhm.
worthiness.
Yeah.
See how it all comes? It starts in the family.
Yeah. Self-sacrifice.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like
Yeah.
this is love. I have to be a
Yeah.
martyr. Look how many moms are martyrs. I have to put myself on the back burner to take care of my kids. No,
Oh.
that's what makes you angry. And now your kids are thinking they're the problem when you're really the
Yeah.
one who's creating the issue,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
Wow,
That was really, really great to bounce around. Thank you.
that was so fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, we're way over, but I'm going to ask you to mute, and I'm going to see who else has got their hands raised. It says, Kathleen, you want to open up your mic?
Sure.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, that was you.
Yes.
You're Kathleen. Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, so you're good. So we've got you. So Anne, so let's mute you. So Anne, you want to open up your mic, or was that from earlier? Because I'm showing that I've got two people who are raised their hands. So,
Hello.
Anne, is that you?
Yes, I have. Yes. Good night. I only have a question about the suicide, about influence of the darkness of the world, and if you can see the despair of a person away from their environment. Because I think that there are a lot of people that are very sensitive, that they feel a lot of darkness from the world that now is going on, and that sometimes it can be that you don't know that it is not your darkness, but the darkness of the world.
And that is such a great question. And especially for so many of us who are women leaders of love, we are empaths and we feel everything. We take on everyone's energy. This is why it's so important to clear your energy on a daily basis. This is one of the first tools I teach in the Worthiness Quotient program is, just some energetic tools to clear you, to create a connection. Because when you take on, especially as women, I mean, we want to fix everything and heal everything because we love so deeply, right? But when we do, we're taking on so much energy. So it's really important. That's why every time we start one of these sessions, we ground, we clear the energy, we go through, that's just a basic tool you can do every day. Because I know, and it's not just even what's going on the planet, it can be what's going on in the stars. It can be what's happened astrologically. So, I know that I've gone through periods and I'll be like, wow, I'm just feeling so heavy. What's going on? And I'll call my friend who's an astrologer and she'll say, well, you're so sensitive. You're feeling this, this, and this. And it's like, oh gosh, I was wondering if it was me because I kept looking to see if there was something there, but I'm not seeing that I'm being triggered by anything, but I'm just feeling this darkness. So she taught me that a long time ago to start paying attention what's going on the planet. Am I feeling that? And so if I do, I get my energy up. I take extra steps to turn on the music, go take a walk out in nature. I love, luckily live in the mountains, in the woods, so I can go take a walk with my dogs. I've learned what I need to do to get my energy up and to clear the energy. But one of the first things that I like to do is if I'm feeling everybody else's energy, I just drain it off, getting grounded. and then I call back my energy and I let it fill me up. So this is such a key thing, that what you're asking, and I want to invite all of you, if you don't have a practice, a daily practice of clearing your energy, I want to invite you to do it. I know that if you do my Worthiness Quotient course, you'll see the all kinds of meditations in there. If you're not doing that and you want to have just a meditation to get grounded every day, you can go to terribritt.com/grounding, GROUNDING, which also comes with the Worthiness Quotient course. And you can just get that for free. It's just like a 20-something minute meditation to get grounded, to help you really clear the energy. Because right now, and you're so right on, it's so important that we do that. And you can do your home. Okay. Like, I don't ground my house as much as I used to, but my home, the mountain we live on has a lot of quartz crystal. So there's a lot of clearing. I mean, you can go out in my yard and there's quartz crystal everywhere. But used to, I would ground my house a lot. And I remember when I first started doing that, a girl walked into my home, and this was when I lived in Los Angeles, and I had a big 7,000 square foot house that was my husband's way of proving his dad wrong. Okay. Because it was like this big, it was in magazines and stuff, and it felt stuffy. So this girl comes in one day, and she didn't know anything about energy. She didn't know anything, but she said, something's different about your house. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, well, what is that? And I said, maybe the windows are open. She goes, no, that's not it. And I said, well, I've been grounding it. I've been bringing in light and then flooding my house with the light. And she goes, that's it. I can feel the difference. So those are some of the tools that you can just start doing. And again, those are in the Worthiness Quotient course. But yes, thank you for asking that question, because it is so important. It is so important. Are you doing it?
Yes, and I from the Worthiness Quotient course, I like the exercise of clearing these chakras. If there's time, I still have another question, because I'm in a negative environment, and is it a good advice to seek for better environments?
Always. I mean, if you can, always, because if you're in an environment that is not loving and nurturing, and if through communication it can't shift, I mean, that would be, if like right now you feel like I can't move, I can't make a change, then I would, here's a little trick I love to do, and this actually is amazing, is I will first ask, what is this situation teaching me? Because as soon as you can shift your vibration, how do I need to love myself more? As soon as you can shift that, then a lot of times the environment can shift. Another thing I would do is, if there's particular people that are creating the negativity in the environment, visualize putting a pink blanket of love around them.
Yes.
And an energetic blanket. And you can just say, I'm sending you love. I don't want to be in this disconnect and this, this angry or hurtful or whatever energy it is. You put the pink blanket around them, see what happens. Another thing you can do is you can ask what the spiritual agreement is. And these are some of the things you're learning in the Worthiness course, right? You can look at the spiritual agreement and look at that, and just say, okay, what is the agreement? What am I learning? You can clean the cord. Okay. Look and see if there's a cord there. Clean your house. So you can do all of these different tools and keep asking, what is the gift? What is it showing me? And it may just come down that this is not where you belong and you need to go somewhere else. But if you're doing all of these things energetically, you're putting yourself in a higher vibration. So even though you may feel like, well, I just can't go and leave right now, or I don't know where I'm going to go, when you put yourself in that vibration, then you can open up to receive the guidance.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
That help?
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
Okay, cool. I'm going to ask you to mute then. And hopefully that will be on the recording. I don't know if it goes that long. I don't know if we have that much time allotted today, but I just want to close out today and say thank you guys. This has been so cool. I could sit and talk to you guys all day. I mean, literally, it is so much fun to hear your thoughts and to be able to share mine. And I just want to say thank you. You being here gives me so much joy. I mean, this is just like, I love it. But just say thank you. I want to say thank you. Thank you for being courageous. Thank you for being a woman leader of love. And I really want to, as we close out today, I want us to just close our eyes and think of yourself as that woman leader of love who has owned her worth. In that instead of the I can't or the I won't, you are walking down that yellow brick road of your life and you are doing it in joy. And even though you may not know what's around the next corner, you're in a state of trust because you know that as you love yourself and you give voice to who you are and express your gifts as if they're not revealed, they will be revealed through doing this inner love work. That as you do this, you're bringing so much light onto the planet. I want you to just visualize that right now and say, yes, I am a woman leader of love. I am worthy. I matter. I am seen. I am heard and I am valued. I can do anything my heart is calling me forward to do. That is my soul speaking to me. And so right now, I say yes to it. Breathing in, releasing. One more time, breathing in and release. When you're ready, you can come back into this space. I just want to again say thank you. If you would like to take the Worthiness Quotient course so you can really dive into the subconscious mind and clear out, then go to terribritt.com/worthy. If you want to hear my story, the full gamut of why it's so important to own your worth, you can go to terribritt.com/webinar. And then come back next week. We'll be here same time, same place. If you have not joined our Facebook group, you'll go to the main page at Women Leaders of Love, facebook.com/Women Leaders of Love. But you can ask to join the private group and come in there. And then if you have questions, if you have thoughts that come up for you, feel free to post them. I really want to make this a sacred space for all of you to feel like you have a community and you can even share what you're doing. If you're coaching and doing stuff, by all means, if you want to share your thoughts, whatever, we would love to have it. I want us to be a community of empowered women. So I'm starting to put more focus there. I haven't done that before now, didn't feel called to, and now I'm feeling called to. So I want to invite you in. So please go check that out. And then we will see you same time, same place next week, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here. And I'll see you then. Have a great week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Oh, we're still.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.